Amazon just laid off 16,000 employees. Now, if you have been keeping track, in 2025 alone, there were over 120,000 tech workers who lost their jobs. In 2024, there were 152,000 layoffs, and we are looking at nearly 300,000 tech jobs eliminated in just those 2 years. Meta, Google, Microsoft, Intel, they're all still cutting. But here is what nobody's talking about. This is not a wave that's just going to pass. This is the new normal. My name is Megan Liu, and I am a tech content creator. But before I did this full time, I had been laid off myself 2.5 years ago as a data scientist. That was when I first started opening my eyes to what was happening in this job market. And here is what I realized then. If you're waiting for tech hiring to go back to normal, you are waiting for something that's never coming back. There are 4 specific forces that are driving these continuous layoffs. And once you understand each and every one of them, you're going to realize that this isn't about individual companies making random decisions. This is permanent. And if you understand what's really happening, you can actually navigate it. So let me break it down, starting with a quick little throwback to what happened back in 2021. So you guys remember the hiring bubble that was happening post-pandemic around 2020, 2021. Companies went on an unprecedented hiring spree. Meta increased headcount by over 60%. Amazon nearly doubled their workforce. The mentality here was growth at all costs. Companies cared about user acquisition and market share, not profitability. And money was so cheap back then. Interest rates were basically zero, so investors were happy to fund this aggressive growth pattern. If you had Python on your resume, you had multiple job offers banging on your door. Why? Because everyone thought the pandemic digital shift was going to be permanent. Companies were hiring ahead of projected growth, and there was this massive FOMO. If your competitors were hiring, you had to hire too. But then interest rates went up from basically zero to over 5%. Investors stopped rewarding growth and started demanding actual profitability, like shocker. Companies realized that they had overhired by 20, sometimes 30%. The layoffs we're seeing now are companies that are returning to sustainable team sizes. This started back in 2022, back when I was laid off from my data science job. It's still happening in 2026. When I was laid off in 2022, I thought this is a rough patch. Things are going to bounce back. This job market is going to come back in full force. But here's what I didn't understand at the time. The 2021 hiring frenzy was not normal. What we're experiencing now, this is much closer to what sustainable tech hiring looks like. If you are waiting for the hiring to go back to what it was, then you're waiting for something that's never coming back. The second force at play here is actually 2 forces in one. It is the AI productivity argument combined with the efficiency mandate. And they're feeding off of each other in a way that's completely changing how companies are operating. Tech CEOs are openly saying we can do more with fewer people because of AI. Mark Zuckerberg called 2023 Meta's year of efficiency. Amazon's CEO has explicitly said that efficiency gains from AI will cause their corporate headcount to fall. Here's how this ends up showing up. Tools like GitHub Copilot mean one engineer can write code a lot faster. AI design tools mean one designer can produce more variations. AI analytics mean one data analyst can generate more reports. The conclusion that companies are drawing from these things, though, is that we don't need as many people. So is AI actually replacing jobs? In some cases, yes, especially the highly repetitive, execution-focused roles. But in most cases, AI is raising the productivity bar. One person is now expected to do what 2 to 3 people used to do. Companies aren't replacing humans with AI outright. They're just not backfilling positions when people leave. Someone quits, and instead of hiring a replacement, they say the team can handle it with AI tools. Even if AI isn't directly replacing your job, companies are using it as a justification to keep headcount low across the board. But what companies aren't saying is AI makes you more productive at execution. It doesn't replace strategic thinking, understanding business context, or relationship building. The people most at risk here are the ones whose role was 90% execution, 10% thinking. If your job was 50-50 or more thinking heavy, then you're in a better position. And this AI narrative is going to feed directly into the broader efficiency mandate. So let me show you how priorities have really shifted. In 2020-2021 period, it was all about growth at all costs. Market share, new products, move fast and break things. You've heard of these terms before. But in 2025-2026, it's about profitability and efficiency. Operating margins, cost control, move efficiently and protect margins instead. So this is now investor driven. Wall Street now is going to reward companies that show financial discipline. Stock prices actually go up when layoffs are announced, which sounds so dystopian and fucked up, but it's true. So what does this look like on the ground in the actual job market? Companies are eliminating those nice to have teams, DEI departments, experimental projects, developer relations, aka that was the role I was in. They're consolidating roles. So we have 3 product managers doing similar things. Now we only have 1. They're cutting middle management. And when they do hire, they're looking for those unicorns. Hiring timelines are getting longer. Leave a position open for 6 months, then hiring the wrong person. Now I see this constantly, at least in my community. People with strong resumes who would have been hired easily in 2021 are getting rejected in 2026. Not because they got worse, but because the bar got higher. Companies have more leverage. For every open position, they have hundreds of qualified applicants, which leads directly into the third force at play here, which is maybe the most frustrating thing for job seekers, the fact that the traditional application process is completely broken. Here are the numbers. The average tech job posting gets 400 to 600 applications each. Popular roles can get up to 1,000 to 2,000. Some senior roles get 5,000 plus. No human can actually review all of that volume. So companies end up relying on applicant tracking systems, or ATS for short. These systems filter out 70 to 80% of applications before a human ever even sees them. You are competing against an algorithm first, not other humans. And right now, we are in what I call the AI application arms race. Companies screen more aggressively because of that. Job seekers are going to apply to even more jobs, and then the cycle repeats. The signal to noise ratio is completely broken here. Recruiters can't tell who is genuinely interested versus who's just using an auto apply tool. So they rely even more on ATS filtering and referrals. Like, this is maddening. Your application might never get seen because of resume formatting issues, missing exact keywords, too many job changes, employment gaps, or cookies showing that you applied to too many roles at the company. None of these things mean you can't do the job. And different companies use different ATS systems, so you can't even optimize for all of them. I read in a recent survey that 30 to 40% of hires come from referrals, and those referrals skip the ATS nightmare entirely. Think about it. If you cold apply, your resume goes into a portal, gets filtered by software, just maybe a recruiter glances at it for a few seconds, and you might get a phone screen, your odds are at like 1 to 2%. But if someone refers you, your name goes straight to the recruiter. You get that phone screen. Your odds jump up to 30 to 40%. Same person, same skills, same qualifications, but the only difference here is that one knew somebody. So let's face it, the job market has never been about being a meritocracy. It's a network-ocracy. And I realized this myself when I compared the results of my first ever job search versus my second one. In my first job search, I knew no one in my industry, and I was too shy to actually build that network for myself. So I relied on the application numbers game and thought, I went to a well-recognized university and I graduated with a pretty decent degree. That should get me far enough, right? Well, it ended up taking me 6 months to land a job. Fast forward to my next job search a year later, after I had spent a full year intentionally building my personal brand and having endless coffee chats to build that network. It only took me 3 weeks to land my next job, not a single job application sent out. And that was when I finally realized the traditional way that people teach you how to navigate applications is so broken. Now, these three factors combined are why I created my LinkedIn job search guide, 30 Days to More Interviews, to consolidate all of my knowledge from figuring out this new world order all on my own, and eventually teaching these tried and true methods to now over 200 students. In this guide, I share my best profile optimization tips, the exact keywords that matter, and networking messages that actually get you responses. It's linked in the description below, so grab it before we dive into the action plan next. But even if you don't check out that guide, don't worry, I got you. This is the gist of what I teach to all of my students, so make sure you start writing this down, okay? First is to stop the mass applying. Spend maximum 20% of your time on cold applications, only to roles where you meet 70% or more of the requirements and you can customize your materials. Be strategic, not desperate. Second, get visible on LinkedIn. This is where 60 to 70% of your effort is going to go to. Optimize your profile for keyword searching. Create content 2 to 3 times per week that shows that you are learning and building, and not just, oh, I'm looking for work posts. Engage with people at 15 to 20 target companies, because this is how I went from being a desperate job seeker to being a candidate that was sought after by employers in just the span of a year. Third is to build real relationships. Identify 20 people at target companies, engage genuinely with them for 2 to 3 months, ask them for coffee chats, and after you've built that relationship, then you want to ask for referrals. One of my students did this: 3 months of engagement, 1 coffee chat, 1 referral, and then she ended up getting an offer from that referral. Now, yes, 3 months sounds like a long time, but would you rather spend 9 months mass applying and getting nowhere instead? Because realistically, this plan is going to take you 3 to 6 months, if not more. So it's definitely not an overnight thing. It's going to require consistency. It feels vulnerable, but compare this to 9 months or more of mass applying with nothing to show for it. The visibility that you create, the relationships that you build, they're going to compound over time. They keep paying off long after you've landed your job and trickle into your future job searches. And that is the real benefit here. And look, I get it. Me telling you to be patient while you're still hearing these scary headlines left and right that this big tech company just laid off thousands of people. Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, so many other tech companies that are contributing to the 300,000 plus tech jobs gone in the last 2 years. It feels overwhelming. I get it. But hopefully now you at least understand what's happening behind the scenes, because this isn't just random chaos. It's not about you being unqualified or the market being temporarily down. It is 3 specific trends happening right now simultaneously. Companies correcting from the pandemic hiring bubble, using AI as justification for smaller teams, and a hiring system that's fundamentally broken at scale right now. And here's what understanding all of that gives you. It gives gives you clarity on what to do next. The same forces that make mass applications pointless also make relationships and visibility more important than they've ever been. Companies want to hire people, become someone that they know and trust. You don't need to be the most experienced person in the room. You don't need perfect credentials. You just need to be visible to the right people and strategic about where you put your energy. And I know I kind of glossed over the action plan for how you do the whole be visible to the right people part at the end there. So if you're ready to sit down and take even more notes on the how part, make sure you check out this video where I break down step by step exactly how I would get hired by leveraging visibility in 2026. I will see you guys there.